Hudson's team of Bigfoot experts was carefully selected from the greater Los Angeles area. The first recruit for the mission was famed anomalist Dr. Franklin Rule. I didn't know what an anomalist was either, but it turns out that Dr. Rule is an expert in the strange and bizarre. Perfect for a Bigfoot hunt. I am a PhD in theoretical nuclear physics, but I found that the scientific community I felt was too narrow-minded about controversial subjects such as involving ufology, parapsychology, and cryptozoology, which of course would include the study of Bigfoot. He certainly seemed to have the right credentials for the job, as well as the right hat. Next up was ex-rock star and actress Cherie Curry, who'd found fame with Joan Jett in The Runaways, and had co-starred with Jodie Foster in Foxes and Demi Moore in Parasite. Since then, she'd taken up the art of chainsaw sculpture, which made her a fey who could fight back if a big ape should attack.
I guess someone had this brilliant idea to call me and say, do you want to do something crazy? And of course, you only live once. So they told me about Bigfoot and how it had been spotted in Manitoba, Canada, and if I wanted to be part of their expedition team. I loved the idea. And gosh, within 24 hours I was on a plane.
Brett, a musical comedy team from the 70s. Now he was a freelance producer with an interest in Bigfoot, among other diverse subjects. I would soon discover that Brett Hudson is as difficult to track down as Bigfoot himself. Now, when we were flying up from Winnipeg to Norway House, I was very much impressed with the forestation on the left, the right, the north, the east, the south, the west. We found tremendous foresting. You could have had 100 Bigfoot creatures concealed in those trees very easily.
We found such strong evidence that it went from a campy, goofy thing with a girl with a chainsaw and Dr. Rule and, you know, Brett Hudson to, oh my gosh, this thing is real.
Current affair came into town, you know, with offer, I don't know the exact amount of dollars they had offered. But sadly, they were the only ones that ventured into the community to make an offer. No one in town could or would tell me how much a current affair had paid for the Bigfoot footage, though there were rumors that Bobby alone had cleared upwards of $400 million. No big surprise that there was a wave of Sasquatch sightings in Norway House after that. The Chubb family, for instance, found a museum's worth of Bigfoot evidence right outside their back door.
Okay, look at that stick up there, it's cracked. I don't know when that happened, man. Early in the morning, I went walking this way, 8 o'clock. I was looking for bone arrow sticks here. Seen these things steaming up. Seen it steaming. They were fresh. That's where I found the hair. And they use these things in the bushes.
A little girl had a terrifying encounter of her own that summer, and I wondered if she was thinking about making a fortune from her story too. Didn't seem like it to me.
I heard something hitting something, so I went to go see it, and it was something big and hairy. And I screamed, and that thing started to run. And then I ran inside, and before I said anything, I just fainted.
There was so much Bigfoot activity that the local RCMP got a call, much to their delight.
How many people get to investigate or have to deal with a Bigfoot sighting, and it was certainly unique and the first time for me. I've dealt with cattle and bear and cats and dogs and all kinds of stuff, and never had to deal with a Bigfoot.
The constable never really got to finish his investigation, as real-life concerns drew his attention away from Bigfoot. There were other investigations too. A professor from the University of Manitoba came to have a look at the footprints. Nothing conclusive came out of that either. In the meantime, A Current Affair had all the Bigfoot stories they needed, and they left Norway House never to return. So Bobby and the other citizens of Norway House popped their popcorn and waited anxiously to watch their worldwide network television debut. It would be an experience they would not soon forget.
He's big, he's hairy, and he's here. Bigfoot.
We do have some breaking news for you from the woods of Manitoba in Canada.
The Norway House Bigfoot saga was a big story for A Current Affair. Bobby's Bigfoot experience was energetic and colorful.
Do you hear me, Dr. Rule?
Yeah.
Yes, I do, Tim, and may the power of the cosmos be with you.
Oh.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're here in the heart of Bigfoot country at Norway House, northern Manitoba. Tim, there could be 100 Bigfoot creatures hiding in those trees, no doubt about it.
Any sign of any one of them?
Not yet, but I've had tremendous response from the locals. One man has promised to show us a patch of Bigfoot hair he found just a week ago.
That's how A Current Affair told the story of the Norway House Sasquatch sighting. Lively, dramatic, and entertaining. And it would be the most thorough examination the world would ever see.
There was more of a show, and we didn't like that.
I think the virtue of respect was completely left out, and completely denied. We were denied of that, what makes us as a people.
People were upset that it was portrayed that way.
They asked if I could do an interview. I spoke about belief system behind all this, the stories of people, about the Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the Witigo, and the spirits. Those are our protectors.
But they seemed unable to protect Norway House and its people against the seductive powers of television. Bobby Clarke and the others had earnestly told their stories, but now they almost wished they hadn't. I never did find out how much money they got from A Current Affair, but I don't think it was very much, and it was looking like maybe that was all they were going to get. After the Current Affair and all the fallout in Norway House, I went to LA just to ask Brett Hudson why he'd told Bobby's story the way he had, and how he felt about being the man who'd brought this potentially historic footage from the wilds of Manitoba to, well, Santa Monica. I had it on good authority that Hudson lived in Malibu and was in fact known as the King of Malibu. We'd scheduled an interview, but by the time I got down to Los Angeles, he'd pulled a vanishing act David Copperfield would have been proud of. But it turns out that LA is a pretty big place, and vanished people tend to stay vanished if that's what they want to do. Maybe Sasquatch should get a place here. You'd never find him.
Hey, Brett, it's Calum calling, fellow making the Bigfoot documentary. Hey, Brett, it's Calum again. Wondering if I could get a hold. Hey, Brett, it's Calum calling, just trying you again. I don't even need to look in my book for your number anymore. I know it off by heart. Okay, give me a call. All right. Bye-bye.
I did manage to speak to Hudson while I was in LA, but he'd gone to Florida. Maybe he'd had his fill of Bigfoot and didn't want to talk about it anymore. But that was fine because the real story was still in Norway House, just as it always had been. And there, York Boat Days was in full swing. This event is held every year to celebrate the community's history. But cynics, like William Barodi of the Manitoba Sasquatch Research Center, might tell you that this year is more about making Norway House into the Bigfoot capital of the world than anything else.
Well, I think people are it for the basis that they wanted to promote their York Boat Days in Norway House. The York Boat Days had a tendency to be serving Sasquatch burgers and selling Sasquatch.
We're beginning to look at things, how to market.
Take advantage of the situation, they can make a lot of money for themselves. Not just the person who filmed, an actual Sasquatch sighting, but somebody who's good at marketing like certain things or finding ways to make money, like such as selling T-shirts.
Well, we're licensing our logo.
Oh, really?
Our merchandise, so we have the real logo.
The band council did have the logo, sure, but Missy Flett and the rest of the town council weren't about to be left out of the action. I guess that's what happens when you have two sorts of government in one small area.
After the sighting, we decided to use the Sasquatch to promote our community. So what we've done is we've got some T-shirts made up with our logo, the Norway House Community Council logo. on the front, and then on the back, we got the home of the Sasquatch with a picture of the Sasquatch walking through the bushes.
That's not the real product. We got the real product, so we're licensing our copyrights and everything else.
There's enough room for Sasquatch, I think, for everyone to tap in.
They can make their t-shirts, but we have the original patent.